Hey guys, AscendantGod here with Raid Shadow Legends. Going to be doing a resistance composition arena team here. So going to be going over a little bit of the composition and what it's about, how it works, showing you it in action. So to start, resistance compositions in arena are only viable these days if you have Tormin here. Tormin the Expensive. He's the anti-speed meta champion. I'm going to show you why in a little bit with him. The only other option that you can do is to compensate by spending thousands and thousands of dollars on your account to have ridiculously powerful gear that can make you basically overwhelm a speed composition that doesn't have as good of gear as you, or maxing out your Great Haul by spending a lot of money maxing out those as well. But if you don't have the gear that is amazingly powerful, or if you don't have Torment, I should say, you don't want to go with a resistance composition. I mean, you'll see other videos, and I've heard other people mention in the past, like, oh, well, I know you say speed metas are so important, but I've seen such and such do a video with a resistance composition, and they didn't have Torment. Well, number one, look at the video and see if it was before Torment even existed, and number two, look at the stats and the gear that they have on their champions. You're going to see the stats that they have on their gear is absolutely insane. They will have pretty much perfect stats and like 4,000 defense just on the bonus side, and just, you know, 100% crit rate, over 100% damage, but yet still like 350 plus accuracy. It's because they have perfect stats on every single one of their gear, but they spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of money on their account to get to that point. So don't try to imitate people like that. It's not a good example. I feel like a lot of those people, you know, I don't know if maybe they forgot what it's like to have to compete with other people that have comparable gear and comparable, you know, Great Haul, you know, bonuses, but I feel like a lot of those videos are very misleading. I don't want to mislead anybody in this again. So again, just to start, here's the disclaimer. If you do not have Torment, it is not sensible to try to run a group without the speed meta. Now, speed meta, if you're not sure what that is, it basically means you have somebody like, say, Arbiter or High Katoon that has the speed aura. They have a turn meter boost, a speed boost, things like that to speed up the rest of your allies. So, and then they have a ton of speed on them, like as you can see with my Arbiter. She's still built for a speed composition here, has 306 speed. And then she has the speed aura too. So anyway, but if you have Torment though, then you can go with a resistance composition like that. So at that said, I'm going to assume that you do have Torment if you're going to copy this, or if you just want to see this in action, check it out. It's pretty cool. It's a lot more fun playing a resistance composition than it is the speed composition. If you look in my previous videos, my speed composition, I didn't really play. I selected a group, hit auto, within 4 to 7 seconds, I won the fight, on to the next one. So it's an easy way to rack up points for the Great Haul. It's not fun to play with though, because you really don't have to play with it. So now, just so you know, when it comes to the resistance composition, at lower levels, defense tends to be more important in my experience. So it's good that with Torment, his defense aura, you have that option there, because a lot of the lower level gold 4, or I'd say maybe even some of the mid-tier gold 4, has raw damage composition. So they'll have champions like, say, Kale or Zargala, things like that, that does a lot of raw damage to you. And if you don't have enough defense, they can rip you to pieces. So like I said, it is always good to consider Torment's defense aura here, especially if you're getting beaten up real bad, not by debuffs, but by damage. All right. Now, at higher gold 4 and platinum levels, though, resist becomes far more important. So, as such, it is really good for a composition like this to have both somebody with the defense aura, which you should have Torment anyway. All right. And then other than that, a resistance aura, which for me is Rosin Scarhide. I would not use Rosin if it wasn't for this resist aura. That's really the main reason that I use him here. All right. Because the resistance becomes far more important when you are pushing up into platinum. All right. The key to a resistance composition is you want to pour a ton of resistance into at least 1 or 2 of your champions that are going to do your crowd control for you, which means they're going to be the ones that you do not want to get debuffed, so they can buy you some time for all your other champions to do their damage. All right. Now, with that said, for me, it's Molly here. You can see my Molly has over 400 resist, which is pretty solid. All right. She has a decent amount of accuracy too, though, because not only do I want her to resist everything, but I want her to apply her debuffs. All right. So I do want to put more accuracy on her, But I mean, my composition here is still a work in progress. All right, so a lot of these champions don't have their skills maxed out. So, and I'm not spending $200 on packages on tomes just to, you know, max out each of these legendaries. I cut back on my spending dramatically. But since they are still a work in progress, like I said, I just started working on this about a week ago. I wasn't sure how it would turn out, but so far it's been great. I mean, it's more fun since they modified Harvest Jack to use his A3 before his A2. Now he is amazing for Arena. I do need to do another champion spotlight on him since they did modify him too. But with that said, the only other option without having a lot of resist on a couple of different champions is you can have one champion that has debuff removal and use them and not have to worry about as much resistance on everybody else, or really not have to worry about any. But like, say I could do it with Bad Alcazar. He removes all debuffs, but he does not bring anything else worthwhile to the arena. Plus I have him built for the clan boss anyway, because he's amazing for clan boss. But with that said, that is another option, like Hackhorn Smash Lord, another one that removes all debuffs. I think it's like Duchess Lilitu or something like that. Something Lilitu. She is amazing. She is anti-Tormin. She rips him apart because she does block debuffs, and so he can't freeze people up. She is amazing to work against him. But anyway, with that said, you know, like I said, this group is still a work in progress, but I do have their stats at least going in the direction I want. Like some of them, I want more accuracy on Molly. I would like some more resistance on Harvest Jack here, but I'm going to show you what I have going on right now, because right now they are pretty solid and they are heading in a good direction. I just want to get their stats higher. All right, so to start here with Jack, he's hit point based, so I went for hit points as survival on him, and I also built him to hit fairly hard here, as you can see, so with the crit rate and the crit damage. All right, and a lot of people don't see this coming. They expect him to be my crowd control champion to get the fears out and block debuffs and things like, I mean, block buffs. All right, I try to make him a little bit of a balance of both, although his strongest trait is his debuffs, which is why I do have a lot of accuracy on him, and I also have him in the support tree for additional accuracy that way. All right, so one of the things I'm going to mention with him, if you do have him, I'm just going to touch on these skills because I know everybody is going to have different compositions, but if you do have him, just show you really quick. His A3 here, I haven't, as you can see, I have not maxed out all of his skills yet. He is the one that I'm maxing out next because I feel he's the most valuable to max out. He gains the most from it with his abilities. I definitely want to reduce these cooldowns here, and I also want to increase my chance of stealing buffs or placing fear. Either way is still a great ability on his A1. But anyway, his true fear here, even at the maxed 100% chance, you still have to keep in mind it isn't 100% reliable, because what this true fear does is a 50% chance of locking down that champion's cooldown skills, but there's also a 50% chance that it does nothing to them and they come at you full force. All right. With a composition like mine, I have Jack using his A3 and then Rosin using his A3 to drop turn meters, and then a lot of times that buys me time that once this true fear is up on the enemy, I can put the A2 up before the true fear falls off, and if that happens, then this places a block buffs debuff on all the enemies as well, which is amazing. So if you can do something like that where you can buy enough time with Harvest Jack, whether you get speed buffs for yourself or you slow down the enemy or you knock down turn meters, whatever have you, and you can get this A2 out while the A3 is still out, the timing on that is really, really worthwhile if you can modify your speed and your composition or abilities to be able to make that happen, because this block buffs, you don't have to worry about unkillable, you don't have to worry about revive on death, you don't have to worry about block damage, any of that stuff. This eliminates it. It's amazing. All right. And other than that, like his A1 is really good as well, where it can remove buffs if they do get some buffs up on them. The A2 was too late. You can steal those buffs, or you can put fear up on them. So that's really good as well. All right. Moving along here, Rosin. Rosin is all about the resistance aura, like I said, for me, which makes him invaluable. This here, the decrease in the turn meters, that is really good. Depending on when he casts this and how high the enemy's turn meters are, it can be great for buying time in the arena. So again, he works really well with my Harvest Jack, as you'll see in a bit though. All right. The rest of his abilities isn't really anything that spectacular. So, and I'm going to show you him in action anyway. So I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, Molly. I do want to talk about Molly a little bit before I go into arena. She is my crowd control champion, like I said earlier. All right, and she also brings other utilities to the table here. All right, now do not underestimate Molly. All right, her passive here, Rowdy Crowd. is amazing. I mean, at max skills, it happens every other turn, and it fills your turn meters by 15% when she's hit. So if they have an AoE that hits all your champions, or if she does her provoke here, and then she gets hit, 15% increase when she gets hit by somebody, which is just amazing ability, amazing. All right, because it boosts up all of your allies' turn meters. All right, and again, when it's maxed, it only has a 1-turn cooldown. All right. So now the thing is, you don't necessarily see a whole lot of damage from her, but it's what she does by helping out everybody else, by doing this rowdy crowd to boost up everybody else's turn meters. And how valuable that is determined by how powerful your other allies are. If you have a really strong composition with her, it increases the value of boosting their turn meters dramatically. So you have to consider that as well. All right. Her A2 here is the main crowd control, like I said, the provoke, and it has a 50% chance to do it for 2 turns instead of 1. And it puts a 30% reflect damage buff on her, so then everybody hitting her is taking damage as well. So again, it's not about what Molly does directly to people as far as damage, it's how she indirectly affects the enemy with things like this. All right. And then she does have this A3 as well here, this Cheers, which is really good. It resurrects one of your allies, fills the turn meter by 50%, and puts a block damage buff on them for a turn. This block damage is the best part of this. I mean, the fact that she blocks damage after she resurrects your ally with 50% of their turn meter. This I don't use much because a lot of times I don't need it, but when I do need it, it is so valuable. Now her A1 isn't anything special, so I'm going to go to the last champion here, the Tormin, the expensive. All right, so again, this guy is a necessity for a composition that is not a speed build. His passive here is just amazing. Wintry Wind at max skills here, so you see I maxed him out, has a 25% chance of placing a freeze when enemies get turn meter boosts, healing, or buffs. And these stack, meaning if someone has Arbiter that gives, say, the turn meter boosts as well as the 25%, not 50% increase in attack, that's 2 25% chances at freezing those champions. Now, and if you use Fearsome Presence Mastery with him, which I strongly recommend, that also increases it another 5% on top of that. So that's 2 30% chances to freeze somebody if they have 2 buffs going on to them. All right, I mean, that's the reason that Tormin here breaks speed metas, okay, because of his ability to lock up somebody, the enemy, and it just breaks them. And you'll see it when I put into use in Arena. And it's not just things like, say, Arbiter with their turn meter boost, but there is also masteries that he procs off of. So say if somebody has this mastery here, where it's a 30% chance to increase the turn meter when a debuff falls off, if they get this turn meter boost from this mastery, there's a 30% chance at that point, if you have Fearsome Presence, to freeze them. If they get one from Rapid Response, again, if this triggers, another 30% chance to freeze them with Fearsome Presence. There's multiple other turn meter boosts. This one here, Cycle of Revenge, another one that can trigger it. There is, I think, about at least 8 or 9 different masteries in these trees that can trigger Tormin to freeze somebody. And then there's the healing ones too, where it's like if you have any ability like, say, the Shadow Heal can cause you to get frozen. All right, and that's why I'm still working on my composition. I think I might need to lose Shadow Heal because it is nice, but if they have a Tormin as well, this is a chance of me getting frozen. So there's certain things now that with Tormin in just about all of Platinum that you have to be careful of. You want to avoid turn meter boosts a lot of times because it can do more harm than good. But if you have enough resistance, that doesn't become a problem. And that's what I'm aiming for, is to have enough resistance on all of my allies that I can get away with turn meter boosts from Molly and my masteries, but have it not freeze me. All right. So I think that covers the main things on him. His A3 here gives him the option to provoke champions off of Molly. So say if Molly's taking a ton of damage or hit points are getting really low, I can use his A3 here to provoke some people off of her. And then it also does a block buffs if the champion's already under a freeze debuff. So it does block buffs and 100% heal reduction. And that is just crazy good. So sometimes I will use this ability just for those 2 things, even if I don't need his provoke yet, just because if they have a strong healer, or if I know they have really strong buffs, like say a Rosh card, oh man, this is amazing. Especially if I know I'm not going to have time to do Harvest Jack's A2 for the block buffs. Block buffs in Arena tends to be amazing. All right, it's just a killer. All right, and that's one thing that I'm going to note with this composition as well. You're going to notice in Arena, I do not rely on any buffs. at all. No buffs on my composition, which means that enemies that have champions that use your own buffs against you, like say it's like I think Madame Ceres, something like that, she doesn't have any buffs to remove. She's still really strong. She can still really hurt you. But there's certain champions that'll turn your buffs against you. Harvest Jack is another one. I don't have any buffs to use against me. So there's that one perk with this composition here that I do not rely on any buffs. I do rely heavily on debuffs though. So there's like, that's where the weakness of this composition is that if you have an enemy that can remove debuffs or a ton of resistance, they are hard for me to take on. But that's why I try to make my champions also do a modest amount of damage. All right. Now, if you do have HP burn for Tormin, though, he becomes insanely powerful. But I'm not going to get into hypotheticals of other compositions. I want to show you how this composition here in particular works. I covered all the main behind it so you understand how this works, why it works, what to do to build this type of thing. Now, one last thing before we go, because you've seen my gear, you've seen my artifacts, you've seen my stats. The gear is modest. It's not perfect stats on these, though. I have like mostly 5-6 star epics and legendaries. The stats are not perfect though, so I don't have the most amazing stats. But again, they're still a work in progress. But I'm going to touch on the masteries too before I get into this, all right? Regarding my masteries, Jack, Molly, and Tormin are set up on the defense and support trees. Just slightly different masteries on each one because, again, he went with Fearsome Presence because I want that extra ability to freeze. I also put the frost set on him because this mastery of Fearsome Presence also increases the chance of this freezing somebody by 5% too. So figured I might as well go for both, especially because I had some of this gear that was pretty useful on him as well. All right. So anyway, with that said, yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to put my Rosin here in the defense and support tree. Right now, I have him in the offense and defense for a little bit of extra damage. I do think I want that extra accuracy on him, though, from the support tree because of how valuable his A3 is for me and buying time in the beginning. But the thing is that I never considered him for arena, so take this with a grain of salt. Ideally, eventually I'm going to have him in defense and support, like, because on a resistance group, usually that's the best thing, unless they don't have any really powerful debuffs, and then, yeah, maybe go for the extra damage in offense tree. But I started putting him in offense tree before I ever had any clue I was going to use him in arena, and I thought I might use him on clan boss as just an extra for, like, certain affinities or whatever, so I started putting him in the offense tree. But if I knew then what I know now, I would have him in the defense and support like I have them. Most of them I have grabbing the resistance here plus 50 because that is just so valuable when you don't have a speed composition and you know there's a chance you might get hit. You want resistance. All right. So just to touch on some of the most important masteries though, because like I said, every single one of these champions has slightly different ones depending on what I felt was the most valuable for them. And a lot of it you have to look at things like saying like, okay, well, do they have buffs? If they do, then maybe I want to get rapid response if they have buffs because then it can increase their turn meters. If they have a lot of debuffs, then like with Harvest Jack, he has tons of debuffs. So this Arcane Celerity here is great on him. So just to touch on some of the most valuable ones in this, all right, to start in defense tree, Defiant, the plus 10 resistance, that's so much more valuable than the defense. Get the resistance because again, in the higher like platinum area, resistance is what's key, all right? And then with the with that, you also want improved parry here, the chance to basically you know, reduce, well, it's not the chance, it's going to reduce damage for the most part because a lot of the enemies are going to have close to 100% crit rate on them, so it's going to reduce the damage that you take by 8%, so that's huge as well. All right. Things Resurgent is also great because that means if somebody hits you really, really hard, 50% chance to remove a debuff if they put one on you. That is really good as well. Definitely one that you really, really want there. Cycle of Revenge, the chance to increase turn meters when allies attacked with a critical hit, because again, the enemies are most likely going to have a lot of critical crit rate on them. So with that said, most likely your allies are going to be getting hit with crit rate and you're going to get Cycle of Revenge. Now again, this could be used against you with Tormin, but that's why resistance becomes so vital on all of your champions, all right? Or a block debuffs buff, something like that, all right? And then other than that, the Retribution is really good too, the chance to counterattack depending on what their A1 ability is. For Harvest Jack, his A1 is great, so with him it's great. The resistance, again, is just invaluable when you're doing a resistance composition like that. You want every bit of resistance you can get, all right? And then other than that, in the support tree, you know, pinpoint accuracy is vital. It's only plus 10 accuracy, but it gets you over here for this plus 20 when no skills are on cooldown, and that's the start of your battle. You want that extra plus 20 accuracy at the very, very start to get the upper hand, to start out right. All right, and then other than that, you have things like, say, arcane celerity or rapid response, depending on if you have buffs or debuffs that you could benefit from, things like that. Swarm Smiter here is also really, really valuable for that accuracy, because it gives you basically at the start of the fight an extra 16 accuracy against the enemy. So you look at like 20, 16, you know, the 10 here. I mean, that's, what is that, 46 there, I want to say? Yeah, because you got 20 here, 36, 46 accuracy extra that you're getting just from these three here, which is why support is so strong. It's why I want to get Rosin into this tree here so he doesn't get resisted. And then Evil Eye is great. It's the first time you hit the enemies with this, decreases their turn meters. If it's a single target skill, 20%. If it's AoE, 5%. But even that 5% on 4 champions, that's 20% of turn meters reduced total. It's worth it. And then Master Hexer is an absolute, anybody that, if it's not a stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, or bomb, of course, but if it's not one of those, absolutely you want to extend the debuff, especially with Harvest Jack, chance to extend the True Fears. That is wow. It is wow. That's all I can say. All right. Sniper is really great when they have a percentage chance to apply a debuff. So say if it's a champion that only has, say, a 75% chance to apply such and such, you get it up to 80%. You know, this is, again, Sniper is another one that's really, really valuable on your, well, no, not on Tormin. Tormin, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect freeze. But on most other champions, Sniper is really, really good. I want to get Sniper on Rosin here as well, I think. Well, no, he has a 100% chance. But anyway, a lot of champions, Sniper is really, really good. I have Sniper on her. So anyway, with that said, though, I'm going to get to Arena to show you these guys in action. I took a little bit longer to explain all of that than I really wanted to, but I wanted to show you guys how this composition worked before I actually put it into action and show you the concepts behind it. So if you have different compositions, you're not just wondering, well, I don't have Harvest Jack, so what should I be using? You understand now why I have him in here, what he does, and the main basics of the masteries, the you know, the gear, the skills you're looking for, things like that. I'm going to start with these guys. This is going to be a really easy win. Now, team power is not always reliable to tell if you're going to win or not, because there's some teams that have low team power because they don't have much resistance, but they have so much accuracy or so much speed that they'll rip you to pieces. So always take team power with a grain of salt. But here, I already know this is going to be an easy win, but this is what I was talking about where sometimes players will have champions that just have a lot of raw damage. Like Zargala here has a really strong AoE raw damage, a single target that does tons of raw damage, and if she kills you with that single target here, it automatically triggers her crack armor, the AoE. So this one here hits really hard if you die from it. Then she does this AoE 3 times on everybody and a chance to do decreased defense on you too. She can be devastating in Arena. She's really, really good. All right, so anyway, but we're going to go ahead and fight her just to kind of show you how this works in action here, because they do have a speed aura, so they're most likely going to be going first. With that said, though, and hang on one second here, I just realized my internet is being a little bit on the fritz. I got to reset that. And I don't know why, but when it comes to playing Raid on my computer, it causes the internet to get a little wonky sometimes. So I'm just resetting it right now. It'll reconnect in a second, but I can explain this while I'm waiting for the... All right, the internet's good now. So with that said, Gorgorath is going to do the speed boost, which gives me a chance to freeze up everybody, and he should be going first. Oh, wow, no, Arbiter. Okay, there we go, good. So everybody got the speed buff and turn meter boost, but that was 2 30% chances to freeze everybody up. And look at what happened to everybody. Now, I get to go first, even though they had a speed boost. So they basically have one champion here that's main purpose is to speed them up and give them first turn. I just use that against them. So now I'm really only fighting 3 people because I'm not worried about the turn meter and speed boosts. It's going to work against them rather than for them. All right, so now we start out right with Molly. Let's provoke everybody. All 4 people provoked. We're good. Here we go. Next, the A3. We always use the A3 first on him. All right, well, not always, but pretty much always. Very few exceptions. We want to get that true fear out there. Beautiful. 2 turns on the True Fear on him, 2 turns on the True Fear on her. So pretty much guarantee on those two that we are going to lock down their cooldown skills. It's almost guaranteed. Now here is again where this A3 is so great. None of his other abilities are that great, but this A3 here, look at those turn meters. All right? Watch them. Boom. Everybody's turn meters just got knocked down. 2 people dead. It's done. It's done right here. Now, if I wanted to, they both have True Fear on them, so I'm really not too worried about what they can do. He can resurrect, so I really want to take him out first. I could do the provoke and everything and do block buffs. I'm not worried about buffs, though. What I'm worried about is him resurrecting. So I don't want him to have this speed here. I want to take him out, slow him down. So I'm going to do my A2 here, because this removes all buffs from a target enemy, and then it attacks them 2 times. And it hits pretty hard, so I want to remove this speed from him. So I'm going to come at him with this A2. I'm not worried about Apothecary right now, because, yeah, he just got locked up, so he just had all of his cooldowns reduced. I don't have to worry about him for a while now. All right, so now I want to take out Gorgorath. He has a Provoke for 2 turns, and he has the True Fear for a turn. And look at this, 2 True Fears out, and now he's going to do this A2, which means he's going to block buffs on them. Now, only on him. Okay, so Gorgorath, I think, resisted it probably. All right, so I don't even know what just happened to him, but he just got a leech on him for some reason now. All right, so here we go. So now I'm going to hit him with this A2. This one here, it's not an amazing ability because it doesn't hit that hard for a single target, but it's decent. It's going to put a decreased defense and weaken on an enemy if they don't resist it. And I want to take Gorgorath down as quick as I can. At least got defense down, so that's good. Great. Now, I'm going to go ahead and provoke both of them because I don't want him healing. It's just going to be annoying. The game was already over at that point. So you see I won. Didn't really take much thought, but I wanted to do an overkill. Okay, so here we go. Here's an Arbiter composition. This is going to be a little bit more difficult here. All right. So with Arbiter, got the 2 boosts. Nethril can be really rough in Arena. I like using him in my speed composition because he's just great. All right, and then, but other than that, no huge threats over here to me. I don't even know what Fushan does. Nothing that special. 4 times at random, decreased defense. Okay, so that can decrease my attack on most of my champions. Stun debuff, All right, so I'm really not worried about him. My main concern is just Nethril not stunning me or reducing my turn meters, but most likely, yeah, look, 2 enemies frozen. He's going to try to stun me. Hopefully I'll resist it. See, 2 champions didn't, and that's why I need to get more resistance on them. But that's okay. Like I said, my Molly has enough resistance to where now she's going to provoke everybody, and she's going to buy me time for them to basically get a turn. So what's going to happen, I'm going to reduce all these turn meters. Boom. So Molly bought me some time. Rosin just bought me some time. I'm going to go at Arbiter because even though Nethril is my biggest threat, I do not want... That was weird. How the heck did she attack? Anyway, all right. And, oh, that's not good. He didn't freeze anybody. All right, well, here we go. Now we get the chance to do the True Fear. This is what's going to be devastating. Boom. Great. And... all right, so we got the slow, too, for 2 turns here, 3 turns there, and that's going to buy me a lot of time as well. So let me take out Arbiter as quick as I can here. And I know it doesn't look that great with how much damage she's taken. I want to provoke with him and take some of the damage off of her. Because remember on him, he has that passive where if he dies, he's going to resurrect anyway. It revives him with 100% hit points, and then he'll still be freezing people. So even if he's frozen, I don't get to attack, he's going to take the damage off of Molly. So if he gets killed, I can resurrect. Well, he's going to automatically resurrect. But if somebody else gets killed, I can automatically resurrect them with Molly. So I would rather him die than her. And he's not going to die anyway. I'm good right now. All right, so I'm going to take him out because it's pretty much there anyway. Sliver of life. And then this is pretty much over at this point. I just want to take him out as quick as I can. Nice, you removed the buff on him. So that's good. But again, it's not really a huge concern. Now I'm going to remove the buff from him again. So I'm going to do the A2 because I do not want him with increased attack hitting me. That could be pretty devastating. But again, this is pretty much already over. I'm just going to put it on auto. I mean, the battle's done. And now all that he has left is this guy. This guy's going to kill her. That doesn't matter because I still have 3 up, and there's no way that he's going to take even one of them out. Like, it's just not going to happen. All right, and he's trying to buff him still, so look at him. He's still fighting. It's hard to take down, I'll give it that, but Hard to take down without being able to do damage, though, just doesn't matter. I don't feel he's a very good choice. Certainly not for Platinum, but we're not in Platinum yet. I'm working my way up there. Alright, so they have Tormin. I'm going to avoid that for now because that's going to become a gamble. I'm going to take an easy win while I'm talking about that. So, reason it's a gamble is because most likely they're going to get frozen before me, but I have so many turn meter boosts that if theirs has a lot of accuracy on him, it's going to lock me up. Alright, so with that said, and again, take another easy win here. Sorry, but I just trying to get up to Platinum here. So I'm going to do another video after this. I'm not going to do too much more in this video because the introduction to this and covering the abilities and everything else took a lot longer than I was expecting to, and I don't want this video to take forever. But okay, so I can show you an example of what happens with Tormin here where I should still have no problems winning this. I shouldn't say no problems. It might be a little bit annoying. So neither of them got frozen. That's not good. Froze me, provoked me. That is not a good start. But I'm going to provoke them. This should happen. There we go. So see, again, now I just bought time. All right. Buy some more time by knocking their turn meters down. Of course, want to take out Arbiter first. Now, I really could take him out first anyway, because he's going to automatically resurrect himself, and then I could kill her before she gets a chance to resurrect him. But either way, I usually go for taking her out first. And let me see what I want to do here. I'm just going to try to freeze them, because I want to save the buff removal for in case they do get that. But really, there isn't anything that I have to worry about at this point other than her just making the fight take longer by resurrecting him. But the fight is, as you can tell, pretty much over. She's just going to make it take longer and be annoying. So I'm going to remove her buff and do some more damage to her. Going to block buffs on him, which is going to be nice. Not like it really matters because there's no valuable buff she can give to him anyway. He's defense-based, so that increased attack doesn't even do any good for him. Alright, I'm going to try to put a fear on her right now. Or just kill her. That's good. Alright, so you can see where compositions like this can be annoying because it becomes a gamble of how much accuracy that they have. Can they freeze up my champions with their accuracy? But you see my Molly is resisting it, which buys me time for everybody else to do her provokes. And even when, you can see even when Harvest Jack does his A1, he can steal buffs and has a chance to put fear up. So even his A1 is pretty threatening. Right, Harvest Jack is just amazing. I mean, you will see a lot of him in Platinum. And Molly is too, though. Molly is a really, really good champion. And like I said, a lot of people who aren't in Platinum or just don't really pay a lot of attention to what goes on behind the scenes don't see the value in her, because when you look at her at face value, it doesn't look like she does a whole lot. But she really, really does. All right, so look at this composition. This composition's fairly similar to mine. This one could pose a threat to me, though, because they don't have anything, I think, that gives a lot of things that are going to work against them, but they'll probably go first since they have a speed aura. So let's see what happens here. Yes, they definitely went first. Oh, but they did get buffs. And they resisted all of it, though. That is not good. Oh, okay. What I resisted, though, too. So that's good. That's where the resistance came in so important. If they just got true fear up on all my allies, I'd be dead. That's why resistance is so, so important here. Now I got the provoke up, and I just bought myself tons of time. I resisted, so now I can get the true fear out there myself. Look at all that. Look at all those debuffs on them. That's freaking beautiful right there. And now this is a little bit overkill, but I don't want Molly dying yet, so I'm going to try to provoke with him and buy her some life. Look at this. And oh, look at all those turn meters too. This is, I love when the turn meters are that high with him. Look at this. Boom. They don't have much resistance. I know I'm hurting all of them bad right now. All right. Definitely want to take out Molly because I don't want her resurrecting this one here. And I'm going to kill him. I'm going to show you how to take out. When she has the unkillable on her, when you have him, oh, now it's gone. But see, if she has unkillable on her, this is where this A2 comes in really useful, where it removes all the buffs. Because I could have removed the buff from Skull Crown there and killed her anyway, even with that up. But now I'm going to kill her anyway with this A1. She's down. She's still frozen, so we're good. But she is my biggest threat right now, so I do not want her resurrecting. So next, I want to kill her. Worst case scenario, though, she'll resurrect Skull Crown. I'll just take Skull Crown right back down, so it's not a huge, huge deal. But now I can just put it on auto. I don't even need to worry about the rest of this fight. Okay, so And I'm going to do another video after this with a lot more battles. So if you want to see more of these battles and see more situations and how I handle them, definitely watch my next video that's going to be coming up on my channel, because I'm going to do that probably either maybe right after this if I have time to, or if not later on today. And then you'll get to see more of this in action. I'm probably just going to do like 1 or 2 more battles here. I want to try to do some other things. This one I may lose to, but I want to show you what goes on here, because Hegemon is the bane of my existence. He can really hurt me, but that's again where resistance is so important. All right, because I need to resist him blocking my cooldown skills, because for those of you who don't know what Hegemon does, Hegemon always goes first. Always. And that's why the defense tree is so good. Look at that. The defense tree gave me a chance to go ahead and attack him, and look at all the debuffs that I got out, especially when he does the retribution. That's that when they all attacked after they got hit, that was that I think it's called retribution, the mastery tree and the defense tree, where it's a chance to counterattack when you lose like 25% or more of your life. That there just gave me a huge advantage right from the start. All right, now I want to take out her as quickly as possible. So I don't particularly like Valkyrie, but there's no point in killing Valkyrie. Great, and she got a fear up on her, so that's good. Now I'm going to buy myself some time by knocking those turn meters down. Good. At this point, really not too worried about any of this stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and do the A1 and try to freeze some more champions. But this should be no problem now from here on out anyway. I should be fine, because I can see I got enough resistance to like resist most of what's going to be going on their end. Although he did lock down him, which is not good. All right, here we go. This is going to be painful. Nice. All right, this might take, yeah, that took her out. Good, great. Now I really don't need to worry about it anymore. I'm going to do a provoke just because I don't know what the heck I want to provoke him. Oh, or just kill him. That's cool. All right, here we go. The True Fear. I'm just going to auto this out because this is about it. But what I'm going to do later on today, though, is I'm going to get really close to Platinum and show you guys the difference once you get into Platinum. Platinum is brutal. Platinum gets a lot harder. Platinum, you don't see me doing autos a whole lot. And it gets to the point, though, where I win and lose 50-50 at this point. Half the people that fight me, I win. Half the people I fight, I lose. And so that's frustrating, because in order to stay in Platinum, you have to keep investing. If you can't win the majority of the encounters on your defense, if you're only winning half of them, you're going to have to spend a lot of tokens, because regretfully, since Platinum is fairly new, there's a lot of people out there that seem to have way too much money burning a hole in their pockets, and they're just spending tons and tons of money on buying tokens for it. And so then giving themselves like a bunch of, ranks up more and more and more. You see this number here, 3790. This is every single day as it gets closer to the end of the ranking period. This is just going to keep going up more and more and more, because people keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So my advice, unless you're doing it for fun, I do not recommend pushing up into Platinum. It's not worth it. You get the rewards once a week, and it's just like Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. I mean, with the gear that you get from Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, how often is it that you use the gear there? I mean, not very much. Most of the time you're getting trash. Now this is a composition where I'm going to do this one, and this is going to be the last battle, because there's a couple of things that are going to pose a threat to me here. Number one, this guy is the biggest threat that I have right now because of his bombs. Bombs completely ignore defense. This is devastating if it goes on you. This is why resist is so much more important than defense, is because of that. I don't think he does anything else, but yeah, the block debuffs, that is also really bad, and he gives it to himself. I do not want him blocking debuffs. All right, so he is my priority to take down. I don't like her because of her ability. She's going to bump up all of her allies' turn meters and knock mine down at the same time, but hopefully it will freeze some of the champions up. He is just really annoying because he puts an unkillable buff on all the allies and block debuffs buff on all of them. All right, so that can be really annoying as well. I have to hope that they're going to get frozen at first, or I'm going to have to be removing the buffs from them. So this is going to be this is the kind of composition that is built to fight Tormin. Let's see, I froze 2 of them. Bought myself some time. Fortunately, he did not put any bombs on me. That is where, again, if he put bombs on me, it would be game over, especially if I think he can put up to 2 bombs. If he did 2 bombs on a couple of my allies, whatever allies he put them on, it'd be dead. But now, he didn't have the accuracy. That's where a big part of this, when you have really powerful champions like the Lord Chalazar, it is all about having a ton of accuracy on him if you know you're going first. You need to get those bombs out. Without his bombs, this is a joke. This whole thing is a joke here. Now, just for the fun of it, I don't want him to have the speed, because if he puts Unkillable up, it's going to buy all of them time. They're not a threat to me, but if they were a threat to me, I have plenty of time before he tries to do the bombs. He's got True Fear and he's got Provoke, so he's not going to do them in the next turn. So my next priority would be taking him out so he doesn't put Unkillable up on everybody and make it harder to take them out. She just had the True Fear trigger, so she's just lost all of her cooldowns, and game over. All right. Now again, these fights, that one could have been a threat. If they had better gear on them, they could have taken me out. If he had more accuracy, he could have killed some of my champions here. All right? That's one of the good things about Harvest Jack, though, is he has so much hit points that even if you completely ignore his defense, the 2 bombs still don't kill him. At least I don't think so. But it might depend on how much attack the person has on it. But that's about it that I have right there, though, guys. But again, like, one of the really valuable things to have on your champions when it comes to a resist composition is that defense tree there, because of this retribution here. And like on Molly, it's not so important because her A1 doesn't do anything that great. But on Tormin, you should absolutely have retribution on Tormin, because number one, you should be getting Fearsome Presence anyway, and it's on the way there. But number two, this retribution, I mean, that's his A1. I mean, his A1 is so great. His A1 has a chance to 25% chance base with the Fearsome Presence, 30% chance to freeze all the enemies, which 30% chance on each one of them, you're going to freeze at least one of them the majority of the time. So if you're lucky, you're going to freeze 2 or even 3. Or if you're really lucky, you freeze all 4. That's the thing, is it could happen to all of them. But again, that's why also Tormin's accuracy is the most valuable thing. I really need more accuracy on him. But again, I was planning on increasing that in the Great Hall. That's why I wasn't too worried about it here. So I have certain things where I'm planning in the long term of what I'm going to do. But really, Tormin for Platinum, I really should have more than 400 on him. So that's why I might work on this before I go into Platinum today. Might work on his accuracy, might work on some other gear and stats on some of these champions to try to really buff them up some more, because I don't need a whole lot of defense on him. I really don't. Defense on him isn't important, because like I said, even if he gets killed, he's going to come back to life anyway, albeit with a freeze on him. But the biggest thing that Tormin brings to the table in my composition here is the chance to freeze those enemies automatically from his passive. His active abilities are nice, sure, especially removing buffs, but in most encounters, it's not nearly as important as having a ton of accuracy for that passive. So with that said, though, I think that's going to do it for today, guys. So I hope this was useful. Again, I'm sorry I didn't show you more battles in action, but I want to work up to Platinum first, and I wanted to cover how to build a resistance composition in the beginning too, because I know a lot of people, rebuilding a resistance composition is a lot harder than speed. Speed, very little thought. You get an arbiter or you get a high Katoon, you put a ton of speed on them, hopefully they go first. You give a turn meter boost to all your other allies, and you have somebody with like a AoE defense down or weaken like Dracomorph here, and then somebody with a ton of AoE damage like say Nethril or Skullcrown or Bigon or something like that. It's a no-brainer. If you want to see how to do a speed meta, just look at my old speed videos. But remember that nowadays, what I would do is, instead of having Nethril in there, as much as I love Nethril, regretfully, if I were to do a speed meta right now, I would do Arbiter, Tormin, along with Skullcrown and Dracomorph, because Dracomorph is going to make the damage on everybody, all the enemies, so much more powerful. And I'll do that actually really quick for you here, just to show you what happens there in case you're curious. All right, so let me show you on a composition that I don't want to do Tormin, because that is not going to be a good example. That might get me hurt there. Actually, all of them look like they're Tormin except for this. So they got resistance. Let's see, they're at 179. They're probably not going to resist me here anyway. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. And then they do have, yeah, they do have the counterattack buffs and increase. So yeah, they're gonna, I definitely want Tormin in this composition for me. And where the heck is my Arbiter? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my Arbiter in lead. Where is my arbiter? There she is. All right, so we got arbiter in lead, Tormin, and then, like I said, we're going to get the Skull Crown and Dracomorph. Defense down and weaken is so valuable in arena. Like, it amplifies, like, because some people had told me in the past, they're like, oh, why do you have Dracomorph? That's worthless. He doesn't do damage. The thing is that Dracomorph, with his defense down alone, over doubles other allies' damage. And with the defense down and the weaken, he increases everybody else's by about 2.5 to 3 times. So it well more, what the damage that he lacks well more than makes up for it with the increase in damage from everybody else. Watch the damage these champions do here. All right. Now I'm not too worried because even if they all go first, she's not going to die. And look at, she does the counterattack with the, that's again where retribution is just beautiful. And I have a lot of resistance on my Skull Crown, and this is the reason why, because like everybody else got provoked, but not her. And watch this. Boom. Everybody's down except for her. She's frozen, so I'm not worried about her. She's provoking me, but she's the last one to take down. So, I mean, I'm going to want to be attacking her anyway, and then that's it. So you see how much damage I did. I didn't look at the numbers there specifically, but Dracomorph amplified the damage of Skull Crown so much that it was worth it to have Dracomorph in there because he did more than what an attack champion alone would have done. All right, so anyway, so that gave you a little bit of a taste there. And like I said, I'm going to work my way up to Platinum later on today. I'm going to work on the gear a little bit, hopefully before then. But again, that's why one of the most valuable things in Arena, no matter what else you get, if you have somebody like Skull Crown that has a strong A1, or Big Gun that has a strong A1, or Harvest Jack, which is a really strong A1 with the stealing buffs and fear, you know, you absolutely want to get that retribution there. That's just, it's amazing. It's an extra free attack if you lose too much of your hit points. And with Skull Crown, if she gets hit a lot of times with that, she can do that, like, you know, a couple of times before she even actually gets a turn. And her A1, as you could tell, hits pretty freaking hard, you know. So anyway, but once those debuffs got out too from Dracomorph, that's a big part of what amplified it. If she didn't have that, it would have been less than half of the damage, or probably almost about a third of the damage. So anyway, but that's all that I got for now though, guys. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I wanted to at least show you the difference. But you saw how quick that win would have been if I completely went first. I didn't fully go first, but if all of my allies went first, I would have won that fight within about 5 to 6 seconds, like I did in the past with other compositions. But you see why Tormin is so much more valuable now, though, because Tormin froze up their Molly, and that bought me some time. So that's all I got for now, though, guys. So you got any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I do hope this has been informative to you. If you have any questions about anything I didn't cover, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I wish you guys luck in your compositions. And in the meantime, I will catch you guys in the next episode. So stay tuned for when I build up into Platinum, hopefully with some better gear. And we'll see what happens. So until then, guys.